How did the frozen chicken cross the road?
I don't know.
In a shopping bag.
Oh, of course. Poor chicken.
Hungry Squared, bringing you the best food talk anywhere.
Welcome to the Hungry Square podcast where the brain and belly meet. I'm Sharon from the Wasatch Cooking Guide.
And I'm Winter from the Chef vs. Baker. This week, we are talking with Bernardo de la Vega. He is the founder and CEO of Mealthy, and it's a cooking company, like an up-and-coming cooking company, and it's going to be awesome.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's talk about it. Hello, Sharon.
Hey, Winter.
What's up?
Not much.
Not much?
There's like lint or a hair on my microphone. I can't figure out where it's coming from.
That's awkward.
It might be my face. I don't know.
That's awkward. Like a couple of times over. Did you find it?
I did.
Good work.
It's on the microphone.
Okay. Glad we took care
Sorry,
of that.
everyone.
How's your week been?
It's been great.
Yeah?
How's yours?
It's been good. I'm a little on the tired side. I've been working out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I went on a bike ride I did a little ride, like an organized ride.
Kind of like a race.
It's not a race. It's a fun ride.
Oh, okay.
There's no winning.
You win because you participate?
I do win. And I did win. Yeah. So did you find what's going on, Sharon? She found another one. She found another hair. I don't know what's going on with her.
Looks like a cat hair.
We do not have cats here.
I know.
Sharon.
I don't know how that would be.
Yeah. I don't know how that would be either.
Very weird.
Because I'm very allergic to cats. Okay. I'm not
Right.
very allergic to cats, but I don't prefer getting itchy eyes.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's gone.
Mhm.
The hair is off the microphone.
We've taken care of that.
Okay. Awkward.
Yeah. How's your week been?
It's been good.
Yeah.
We are getting ready for Noah to graduate high school.
That is her stepson. And this is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
There's going to be a lot of food.
There is going to be a lot of food.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of food at our house. We're having family from all of the sides coming over. And then we're going to have a graduation dinner, like going out to dinner that night.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That will be fun. Well, congratulations, Noah. That is awesome. We're excited for you
Yeah.
and exciting for new stuff, actually, probably.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. That's good.
Don't get a tattoo. That's all
We're
I'm
just
saying.
gonna put that out there. We had a discussion about something beforehand, you guys. Sorry about that, but it was an important discussion. Food nerd shout out.
Shout out.
Sharon, I just wanted to tell everybody, I wanted to read this because we had a recommendation on Facebook for our podcast.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you?
Yes, it's awesome.
I know. So I shout out to Miriam. Hey, Miriam.
Hi.
She said our podcast was funny, uplifting, and interesting. So thanks. That made my day.
That is a huge compliment. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you for taking the time. And I want to give you a high five through the microphone. High five. Woo. Woo. And if you have anything if you want to tell us what you think about our podcast, please do. We always want to hear if you like it, if you don't like it, you don't like us, you like us, whatever. hungrysquared@gmail.com. It's a great place to send that information.
Let's dig into the kitchen drawer.
Let's do it.
Winter.
Okay, I am very excited to talk about my thing that I'm going to talk about today. We are going to be talking to the CEO and founder of Mealthy, and we'll talk a little bit more about who he is and what he's done. But as kind of a preview to that, I got to preview use. Is that a thing? Can I say that? It's a thing, right?
Sure.
Okay. I got a crisp lid sent to me.
Tell me what a crisp lid is.
Okay. So I've talked about our air fryer before, have we not?
Yes.
I believe we have.
Mhm.
And I really like it.
That was your splurge for your birthday.
It was my splurge for my birthday. And I really love crispy things.
Mm-hmm.
I like the crunch. I love the crispy. I kind of like it almost a little brown, like a little pushing it on the dark side.
Almost burnt.
Almost burnt. And so when I got the air fryer, I was pretty excited about it because I was like, oh yeah, these tater tots are crispy and I love it and they are healthier.
Bring on the almost burnt stuff.
We do not need soggy tater tots, right?
No.
Not one bit. And so I was really excited that they sent me a preview version. Preview. I don't know what that is.
It's a beta version.
No, I think it's it. I just got to see it before a lot of people got to order it.
Oh, you got to preview.
Yeah.
The crisp lid.
Yes. And
take it for a test drive.
I took it for a test drive today and it was super fun. I want to tell you what makes it different than my air fryer. So the air fryer is actually an entire unit on its own, right?
It's a whole appliance.
It's a whole appliance. It's the size of an Instant Pot, like a 6-quart Instant Pot. So that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So when I purchased my air fryer, which I told you before, was that I did not like how much real estate it was taking up.
Right. Because it's on the counter, or then it's not on the counter, but then you've got to find a place for it.
And it's a big chunk of real estate. Like, I got no time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I really like it. It's still in our kitchen at this present time. But like I said, I've busted out the crisp lid, which is it's an attachment that you can add on to any 6-quart or 8-quart Instant Pot, multi-pot, pressure cooker type of electric pressure cooker. So I do have an Instant Pot. We've talked about it before. Mealthy does have a multi-pot. We'll talk about that also. But so I just attached it directly onto my 6-quart Instant Pot and made crab rangoon today.
So you're telling me that the crisp lid is comparable to an air fryer?
Yes, it is an air fryer.
Oh, it's like an air fryer attachment.
Indeed. It makes any multi-pot, any electric pressure cooker into an air fryer. So I haven't
we're going to talk about that a little bit later with Bernardo.
Exactly. We will be. But I want to point out that I really had a lot of fun with it because it really just sets right on top of your pot, the inner pot of the Instant Pot. And you put the handle down and that's when you're good to go. Like kind of locks it in place. And you see it heat up and everything. Like you can look into the pot because the lid is clear glass. And of course they have warning stickers that say this is going to get really, really hot because it really does. And so I made some crab wontons. And what do you think, Sharon? I gave her some.
They're really good. And I'll probably be sick for days from the cream cheese.
But the thing I really liked about it was that it made it super, super crispy. Like it did its thing. It's a healthier version of a crab wonton. So that was yummy. And like I said, I haven't delved into it. So you just put everything into a little basket right underneath the heating element. And so the basket's not terribly large, but if you're, I think there's ways of doing it, but there's a basket, you put everything in it. You can take things out and flip them over if you need to, but there's air circulating in that entire pot. So that's kind of the nice thing. With air fryer, usually like the air fryer that I have is that halfway through you pull out the thing and kind of shake it up.
Oh, right.
This one, I think you would have to, because there's air flowing underneath it. It kind of crisped up the bottom also. There wasn't direct heat on it. It was more the convection stuff that was happening underneath.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So I did flip my those wontons over and crisp them up because I like things really crispy. So anyway, so far I'm really liking it a lot, and it doesn't take up as much space, and it's like a third of the size of my air fryer. So I am really liking it for that reason. So more to come, but so far I'm going to probably say that it's a 4 out of 5 only because the little basket, I don't know how much stuff I'm going to be able to fit in it.
Okay. So it's a 4 out of 5 because you're suspicious.
Yeah. But I will weigh in a little bit more as I can make more stuff.
Because it seems like it made a pile of crab rangoon.
But we did batches and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, but we, I think we probably did 10 in the basket.
Which is pretty good.
8 to 10.
Air fryers themselves,
that's true. They don't have
those baskets aren't very large either.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, but yeah, I think so far I'm liking it.
4 out of 5 for suspicion.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just merely suspicion I got to check this out. I got to go buy some tater tots.
Okay.
I know that sounds ridiculous, but I need to buy some tater tots. I don't buy tater tots that often, people. Anyway, more to come. Yes. 4 out of 5 though.
Okay.
And now for the main course.
So let's get down to our interview today with Bernardo. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. This was a really fun conversation that we had with him.
Sharon, I sometimes think to myself that I am not ambitious enough when I talk to people like Bernardo.
He is definitely ambitious and a go-getter.
He is.
And that has helped him to really accomplish some great things.
Yeah. And so when we first started talking about interviewing him, like when we first met him, I was like, oh yeah, this will be awesome. We'll talk to them. They make appliances, they make kitchen tools and that type of thing. But we discovered it was way more than that. It's not just appliances. And
yeah. So take a listen.
Yes, you're going to love it.
We're here today with Bernardo de la Vega. He is from Mealthy, and he's an entrepreneur whose passion is to build companies that solve real everyday problems for consumers and to simply help make their lives better. He graduated from UNC Chapel Hill in business and spent quite a bit of time in the financial services sector before he found his passion for entrepreneurship. He launched Rada Beauty in 2014, which ended up being the #1 selling healthcare and essential oil company on Amazon. And then in 2017, he discovered how to merge two other passions of his, which are food and technology, and the Mealthy company was born. His goals are to provide outstanding value to customers by providing them with state-of-the-art, high-quality products and resources at affordable prices. Mealthy resources include their app and website, which help with meal planning, recipes, nutritional information, and even grocery delivery. Welcome, Bernardo.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you for the invite.
We are so excited to chat with you today because we met you just a few weeks ago and we were both blown away and very excited to see all of the things that Mealthy is doing. I think it's super exciting. We met you at Everything Food Conference, and I just want to say the enthusiasm from your team and for what you guys are doing is infectious, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It was. I mean, it was great to meet you ladies as well at the Everything Food Conference, and yeah, it was really exciting for us because we were launching our crisp split. So we were definitely there, and everybody who stopped by booth, all these food bloggers were like, oh, this is a new product, and so always fun to be at a conference with something new that everybody really wants. It was just a overall really great experience. Mm-hmm.
Yay, that's great to hear. So we want to, like Sharon kind of mentioned in the introduction, you have a company. You've actually kind of been an entrepreneur for a while. And
yes.
So, but in kind of different areas. And then eventually you started into something that was food and technology. And I really love that. Bernardo, tell us a little bit about yourself, especially how you cook. Like, how did you give us a little bit of your background, your history, and then how you currently cook in your kitchen today?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Mexico and lived there until I was 18. And actually my first entrepreneur experience was in the US, and I sold books door to door when I was 18 all the way through college. So that was my first time being sort of having my own business. Very, very, very tough experience. So books door to door. After that, when I was 27, I started a skincare and essential oil company, which was Rada Beauty. And I had that company for 4.5 years. And then I sold that company in November of 2018. So just last year. And, as I was getting close to selling Rada Beauty, I was thinking that I wanted to get into sort of the food space because I actually, ever since I was young, had this idea that I wanted to have like a restaurant, right? But then as I had my own companies, I was like, okay, but how do you really scale a restaurant, right? So then,
right, that's a big question right there for a lot of chefs.
Right. So to me, having had this beauty company, I was like, okay, well, you can scale a whole lot more if you sell a product that people really, really want, and therefore all of a sudden your home market is all of the US, or in this case with Mealthy, as we're expanding internationally, it can be completely sort of the whole world, as opposed to kind of like a restaurant, and you can obviously open different locations, but I just really like the idea of being able to scale on a very big level. If you had a product that really solved a problem and that really made things easier for people in kind of like their everyday life, right? And like I said, ever since I was young, for me, I always had a passion for food. I have fast metabolism, so I several times a day. So I've always had this, sort of kind of relationship with food where I'm constantly trying to understand what's good for me, what's not so good. How do I cook something easier? How do I make it healthier? So making something healthy and easy has been something I've always like lived with my whole life. And being able to start a company that actually does that, it was really kind of like everything sort of bringing everything together, which is why I sort of I started Mealthy, because it was just kind of like the right thing that I wanted to do, and I saw this really massive demand in the market for that specifically, right? Cooking healthy and easy. Mm-hmm.
And quickly too, because I, as a mom, that's one thing I look forward to as well. I need something quick and healthy, and I can kind of do a lot of things. So I think we all kind of have that same problem. So you were
Mm-hmm.
nailing down a good niche, a good need out there.
Yeah, and absolutely, like you said, quickly, like sort of within the easy, I think is that easy and quick, while still being healthy, right? So absolutely, so those three components are extremely important, and that's really what Mealthy tries to accomplish. Mm-hmm.
So you eat a lot, though. The way you cook then is that you're constantly prepping food out and everything. So you are a health nut, kind of sounds like to me. Give us a little glimpse of what you ate tonight for dinner.
I ate sweet potatoes, chicken, and then veggies. Today was asparagus. I try to eat really, really clean. I don't eat any fried stuff. I fully stopped eating sugar like 2 years ago. So I do eat really, really healthy. I don't drink, not even socially. So and I'm pretty kind of like I can say I have a very good self control over kind of like my my meals, and therefore I'm not sort of like constantly like I don't do cheat days as well. So I would say I'm very
You're pretty disciplined, is what I
I'm
think.
very disciplined about, yeah, I would say I'm very disciplined about my meals. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome and commendable, because I have a hard time and I have cheat days and such like that. But at the same time, like if you can make food that is really healthy and tasty, then it helps a lot on not having cheat days and stuff.
Yep.
So can you talk to us about your philosophy on kitchen tools? What are some essential design factors that make a kitchen tool good or worthwhile to have in your kitchen? And what types of kitchen tools are you okay with, like unitaskers, like a garlic press or something that only does one thing? Or do you like to get more bang for your buck in your kitchen tools?
Yeah, great question. To me, I think where there is right now, there's a big demand in the market for tools that can do a lot of things in one appliance, right? Which I think has given rise to the pressure cooker, because a pressure cooker, an electric pressure cooker, not only is it easy, fast, and healthy, right? Because you cook with pressure. It also allows you to saute your food first. You can certainly slow cook as well. Obviously, pressure cook. You can also steam. To me, there's this big sort of demand for sort of an all-encompassing appliance, and that is also why Mealthy looked into adding the Mealthy crisp lid, right, which now turns your pressure cooker into an air fryer. And we've seen a massive excitement over this product. But overall, to me, I think a very good kitchen appliance is the one that people can have one appliance on their counter, and it really solves all the different needs, and they use it multiple times during the week, maybe once or twice a day, and it solves a lot of different sort of problems. And overall, it can cook something that is. And in this case, it's sort of the pressure cooker that people also really like is kind of like a set it and forget it function, where sometimes it'll take you 3 to 5 minutes to prep. You put everything in the pressure cooker, you walk away, and in 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on what you're cooking, you can come back and the food is ready, right? So I think that is now really what people are looking for, and something that definitely Mealthy has has delivered with a pressure cooker, and now specifically with a crisp lid, making a pressure cooker also an air fryer.
I was very excited, actually. That was the one thing that was very appealing because I'm the type of person that really enjoys having multitaskers. We don't really have unitasker type tools in our home. And so the fact that I bought a separate air fryer was driving me crazy. Like I bought an air fryer this year and it takes up so much space and it was really bugging me. And so I was quite excited when I met you guys and you told us that the crisp lid was actually coming out. And so like you said, the crisp lid is an attachment to any type of pressure cooker that is usually 6 to 8 quart. Is that correct?
Yep, 6 to 8 quart. Yep.
And it will basically create an air fryer type of a situation, which I love things that are crispy. Like I love pressure cooking stuff, but sometimes it doesn't give that like little bit of caramelization at the end, that crispiness that you might desire in a dish, in my personal opinion.
Right. Yeah, and I think if you could say like the beauty of having both is pressure cooker. Because you with a pressure cooker, because you're using liquid, right? A lot of the sort of the meats that you cook, or sort of veggies, or soups, or even kind of sort of mashed potatoes. Again, because you're using liquid in it, you tend to get that juicier kind of and this sort of it's just more moist food, which is really nice, right? And so if you cook it right, you won't get sort of like the dry meat that like, oh, this is dry, it doesn't taste as good, right? So that you get that with pressure cooking, and therefore if you add the kind of like air frying component, you get like you can get chicken that is kind of crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside, which is really kind of like what kind of like the ideal kind of a meal that somebody would be looking for, like that kind of like juicy meat or juicy sort of any kind of a dish. But if you can also add kind of like the crispiness on the top, then you kind of get the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like the holy grail of a yummy chicken. So
can we talk a little bit about both the crisp lid and the multi-pot, just a little bit more? What was the motivation behind developing the multi-pot? That's Mealthy's electric pressure cooker. Is that correct?
Yes. So it kind of started, the whole idea started because again, I was running the sort of beauty company, and I was feeling a little bit frustrated personally with my current eating situation. Right? And I don't know, as entrepreneurs, rather than saying, I would say most people think of like, okay, how do I solve this? Whether I sort of like do more of a meal plan or meal prep or whatnot. To me, I was like, okay, well, I need to start a food company, right? If I'm currently frustrated because I was at my beauty company and I was always sort of eating out, and I was thinking like, okay, so things are going pretty well with this beauty company, but not really happy about my eating situation. So right away, I was like, well, then I'll solve it very easily by just starting a food company, right? So that's really where kind of things started. And though what I really liked about the food space is there was this opportunity to do things really well on both the content side and the product side. To me, the companies that are really winning today are really companies that are also media companies, right? It's not just about selling a product. It's about really providing content that people really, really want, and really providing value so that people really are able to really take advantage of your product, and you can really really help your customers in a lot more ways than just providing a product, right? So from that standpoint, to me, I saw that there were some recipe apps that were doing a really good job, but I didn't see any appliance recipes that were doing a good job. In fact, I was quite surprised how lacking all the sort of like the kitchen appliance recipes that I saw were in terms of sort of functionality, in terms of recipes, in terms of videos. So that was one part of it. And then on the product side, definitely the Instant Pot, I would say, which is certainly one of our competitors, and they've been around for longer. I think they did a really good job on making the pressure cooker a kind of like getting kind of like that fear out of people. As old school pressure cookers, people are like, oh, but those blow up and whatnot. And these new electric pressure cookers, they're so safe, right? They have all these safety mechanisms, and obviously sort of depending on the brand, but ours is extremely, extremely safe. and therefore, that's why you can put everything in, and you set it and forget it, and you come back, and sort of the meal is cooked, right? So, I think the Instapot did have a sort of great success, and there were some things that I thought from a user perspective that we could do a whole lot better. But at the same time, I thought, while the pressure cooker is a fantastic appliance, I said, okay, we might start with we will start with a pressure cooker, but we want to offer a whole lot of different products, right? And that's why Mealthy is about to launch 6 new products this year, between sort of a fry pan, a nonstick pan, air fryer. We're still launching an air fryer besides our crisp lid, a blender. So a whole lot of, like, we want to own people's entire kitchen. And my biggest goal was, if I can provide an exceptional product with even more an exceptional customer experience, which means to me that once people buy the product, everything that happens after they buy the product is something that was really not being fulfilled very, very well in the food space, because you can provide so much value with a kitchen appliance company after somebody buys the product. And that's where I think sort of the market was really lacking, right? And that's why, we set up and built a really, really awesome custom website that, that has a really great backend CMS, and therefore all the recipes and videos also live on our app. And all this added functionality, which we just added, right, where people can everything from, adjust the serving sizes. They can leave personal notes on recipes, right? Say, like, I want to add more tomato for next time, add more tomatoes and onions on this recipe, right? They can see the calorie count on each recipe. They can now do meal planning, create automatic grocery lists, and then order from Instacart and Amazon Fresh. And we're in the process of looking to incorporate as well with Walmart as well, right? With Walmart grocery. So to me, all that added functionality made it really appealing to be able to say, okay, people just bought our Mealthy pressure cooker, and now, but that's only the beginning. And if we provide a really exceptional customer experience, people will absolutely love the brand, and then they will say, well, what other product can I buy from you, right? And then they'll buy an air fryer, or in this case, for example, the crisp lid, right, which we're about to launch. And they'll buy the blender, and then they'll buy the sort of the pan. So to me is I have tried to become obsessed with, like, making sure that our customers absolutely love the brand, because that's where I think, from a customer perspective, you really fulfill that need, and customers are really, really happy. And from a brand perspective and company perspective, you can really build that loyal following where you can have your customers coming back for more. And I think, the job of an entrepreneur is to provide the absolute best customer experience, not just product, but customer experience, and therefore have raving customers that will come back for more, because you provided the very best of, sort of that they could find out there. Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. I know with a lot of kitchen products, like appliances and things like that, there aren't a lot of resources for them. Like, here's your pressure cooker or your slow cooker, but you have to go and figure out how to use it, and then figure out what meals taste best in it and things like that.
I want to actually add a little bit of something to this, because Bernardo, we're looking at your website and the app actually right now. And if you guys get a chance, I would recommend, I encourage our listeners to go to mealthy.com, Mealthy. So it's a portmanteau of healthy and meals, like healthy meal. So if you go there, like, they really, as Bernardo was talking about it, they've created a place where you have so many resources, like loads and loads of resources. I will admit that I own an I own an Instant Pot, but the thing that I have found that has been lacking is that there's not a lot of support, in the sense that there's people out there that are doing a lot of, like, developing recipes and that type of thing. But the problem is that sometimes those are not, they're not authority figures. Does that make sense? Like, you guys who have created the products are creating stuff that you would do for yourself, and you're sharing that and being the authority for how the multi-pot works. Does that make sense? That's what I want to add, that part of, like, this is cool. Like, what you guys have done and developed is really cool.
Yeah, and I think the one other thing that we've done that I think has been done in other industries, but also no one has really done this in the kitchen appliance space, is making cooking fun, right? And by that I mean, we have a fun video that kind of explains what the pressure cooker is, but one of the biggest things is looking at user manuals. User manuals tend to be extremely boring, and most
Yes.
people don't read them because of that. If you look at our user manuals, especially like our quick start guides, they're very funny, and people always comment on sort of saying like, thank you for making your user manuals and your quick start guides funny, because this is the first time that actually like I enjoyed reading a user manual as opposed to sort of like reading it a little bit and being like, oh, this is, it's kind of like, reading, I don't know, I compare it to like, like a textbook of about law or something like that, where
Right.
it's painful to read, right? But we said, okay, how can we make it fun, right? Let's make our user manuals fun as well. So there's a lot of different sort of things besides the user experience, but making sort of cooking fun, from our main video of how we promote our product to our user manuals. And then also, from the way we interact with all of our customers, and even in our Facebook group, I'm always there sort of interacting from our customers. I feel like, having the sort of the CEO always interact with customers and sort of answering questions, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And I've gotten a lot of comments of people saying, are you really the CEO? Because you're on here a lot. I'm like, yeah, just so I try to make Mealthy as fun and engaging, and as having that direct communication with the customer, which I think is really, really important nowadays to really build a brand. And I think overall those are the brands that are really, really going to rise above everybody else. The brands that really can, they're the brands that are really human, right? And we really try to have that human aspect in all those sort of, again, the sort of the fun user manuals, all the user experience, the engagement on a Facebook group, even from all our senior management.
I think that's awesome. Just to have that type of engagement from the top down is great. I think that really, that to me builds my loyalty to the brand too. Just to have that genuine connection when you're online in like a social media forum or something, and you're just like, oh, hey, I wanted to comment about this or troubleshoot that. And just to have that engagement from you and your leadership at Mealthy, that's great.
I love that your manuals are funny.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's a really nice design aspect, because you are right. User manuals are dry, they're intimidating, and they're really boring. And I will once again admit, like, there are many products that sit, like, I purchase them, I'm really excited about it, and they sit unopened for a few months before I actually do something with them, because I'm like, okay, am I ready? Am I ready to actually do this? The fact that you guys have a video, which is kind of how we consume media nowadays, that helps considerably. I think it's really smart.
Yeah, it makes it approachable.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm actually, so you started Mealthy in 2017, December of 2017. That is really not that long ago. So can you give us a little behind the scenes look at what you did in developing a prototype? What did you do to develop the multi-pot to be what it is? And from the idea concept to actually having a physical product. Can you just you don't have to go way into super detail, but just a little bit behind the scenes. I love it. I know people love that kind of thing here.
Yeah. So actually the idea started in early 2017, where again, I was sort of, the beauty company was doing pretty well, but I was like, okay, my eating situation, it's not so good, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to start a food company. So I started sort of looking around, kind of got the sort of the entrepreneurial itch, even though obviously I already had a current company. And I was like, okay, I really like the idea of creating a full kitchen appliance company with all these different products. We're going to lead with sort of the pressure cooker, but we're going to create a really, really good website and an app from the beginning, right? And so I said, all right, so what I did was in April of 2017, I actually, it was literally 2 weeks before it's called the Canton Fair, right? They have it in April and October. And 2 weeks before, I decided, okay, well, I need to go find a really, really good team of engineers to create an absolutely amazing product, because if we're we're creating a pressure cooker, it needs to be really, really well done, right? You can't just, sort of, I don't know, go on Alibaba and hope for the best kind of.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
Right, which is still what a lot of people do when trying to sell like a $15-$20 product, whether you're drop shipping or whatnot. I have a good amount of friends that still kind of follow a little bit of that model. But so I went to China. I sort of went around sort of the Canton Fair. It was interesting because I approached some of the really sort of big companies, and they kept asking me, okay, what is the name of your company? I said, no, well, I have a very successful beauty company. And they're like, yeah, but we're manufacturers for big kitchen appliance. What is the name of your kitchen appliance company, right? And so they couldn't understand that I did not have a kitchen appliance company, and yet I was kind of like approaching them saying, well, you need to work with me and you need to manufacture with me, because obviously they're used to like working with massive sort of accounts, whether it's Walmart or Target or really, really big kind of like really big companies like that, right? So I think with as you're an entrepreneur, you have to be very, very stubborn at times, where every time you get a no, it's almost like, I just got another no, let me go get another no until I get a yes, right? So so it was one of those times where I got a whole lot of no's. And then eventually, the last couple of days, I actually got invited to visit a couple of factories. And funny enough, with one of them, they asked me to prepare this really, really. They say, okay, but if for when you come to our factory, please have a business plan, right? And I actually didn't have a business plan, so that night I stayed up until 5 a.m. developing this business plan that they wanted to see, because they said, well, if we're going to work with you, we need to see a detailed business plan. And when they asked me that day before they invited me to their office, they said, you do have a business plan, right? And I said, yes, of course. So that means that I actually had to show up with a business plan. So again, I stayed up until 5 a.m. My sleep schedule was a little bit off anyway, obviously because of the time difference. So and then I showed up and sort of with this really detailed plan, and I guess it did impress them, because and it was funny because as I gave this sort of the presentation, they looked at me, and sometimes Asian people, especially sort of within manufacturing, a lot of them are not very expressive, right? So they looked at me, and I was like, okay, are they liking this, or are they thinking like this is terrible, right? Because they were just like, they looked at me and they were listening, but no expression. So I was very confused. Like sometimes people can give you feedback as you're like, they're smiling or whatnot. I was getting like no feedback, positive or negative. They were just listening. So I was a little like, I was like, well, I don't know how well this is going, but I'll just keep going. So that was very interesting. And then, after, they gave me a tour and everything. And after that kind of happened, they thanked me for my time and whatnot. I left, and then, got on a plane. And then a few days later, I get an email from them saying, we were very, very impressed. We'd like to work with you. And that's kind of sort of how I found a sort of really good team of engineers and really good sort of a really good manufacturing company that Mealthy eventually partnered up with. And then we did spend the next 8 months developing sort of the pressure cooker, and then we launched it in like late December, pretty much like January of 2018. But there was that 8-month period of sort of constant going back and forth, that this and that and the user manuals and the control panel, and are we adding this or are we adding that, and sort of that whole design of the control panel that that people really like. We said, okay, how can we make this simple but at the same time providing all the key features that people really want, including that cooking progress indicator that people really like. And so how can we do that all and then fit in what accessories are the best ones that are really important, and then how, as we combine all this, can we achieve a price of $99 so that it's really like the best product at the best price.
Yeah, you seriously, I think that story is crazy town to me. I'm like, I can't believe you wrote first of all, business plan overnight, and then you found a team because of that. The other thing that I think is really cool is that you were very active in how you wanted that product to look and to have it at a price point that is actually considerably cheaper than a lot of things that you can find out there nowadays. One thing I do want to point out, and that is one thing that I wish I had, was that you talked about the pressure, kind of the progress of the pressure. So one thing people have qualms about is about, multi-cooker type pots, the pressure cookers, is that everybody's like, oh, it's so fast and everything. It only takes 7 minutes to make chicken or whatever it happens to be. But everybody's like, oh, but it takes this long for it to get up to pressure or to depressurize. And having the little progress, basically there's a progress chart on the front face, and you can see as it climbs up in pressure, once you hit pressure, how it cooks, how long it's cooking, and then as it natural releases, or I guess you can probably like quick release or something of that nature. Is that right?
Yep.
I think that's the really smart idea.
That is sort of the preheating, cooking. Yeah, and keep warm and having that sort of that cooking progress indicator. It just allows these people to get a really good understanding, especially like sometimes when you set the pressure cooker, sometimes, especially for a lot of beginners. I mean, that's good for everybody, but especially for beginners, because we saw there was a lot of people saying like, okay, is it on? Is it working? I'm not exactly sure. And so with the cooking progress indicator, just having that in there allowed us people to say like, okay, it's preheating, right? So it'll tell you right away it's preheating, right? So that was really important.
So smart. So smart. Okay, so then you guys, after 8 months, you came out with the product and you launched it basically more or less January 2018. Is that right?
Yep.
And then at the same time, you already had the website with all of those recipes and everything, and the app. Were all of those developed at the same time?
Yeah, so at the same time, once we started working on the product, I started assembling the team to build, to do all the videos and the website and the apps. So sort of really building all the back end, right? So we started really that on like July 2017. So we actually released the website about October of 2017. So to me, the way to build, because again, Mealthy is not my first company, right? I had Bernardo Beauty, which I had for 4.5 years. And with, just with anything, once you do something, you learn, right? And so what I learned, one of my biggest things from Bernardo Beauty is, as I was getting, towards the 3rd or 4th year, and as I was thinking of selling it, one of the things, because I wanted to kind of like get into a different industry, I wanted to get into sort of the food space, which, was something that was kind of like more appealing. But one of the things I realized was me saying, man, I wish I would have done this 3 years ago, right? I wish we would have like put more effort into our SEO so that organic traffic was better, right? And this was, again, as I was getting close to kind of like selling Bernardo, I wish we had diversified a lot more outside of just selling on Amazon, right? So there was a couple of things I wish we would have built a more of a content strategy, right? So there was a few things that I saw as I had Bernardo Beauty, which again, I sold it late last year, and so when I went into Mealthy, I said, okay, I don't want to have Mealthy, and then like sort of 2 years in saying like, okay, now it would be great if we have an app, or it would be great if we had more recipes, or it'd be great if we had all this. So I just set out to build it at the same time that we're developing a product, and the product could have been absolutely terrible, right? Which means I would have built a whole sort of food media company without a product, right? But I said, okay, we're building both at the same time, and hopefully, ideally, if we execute well on both, we'll be launching a product that already has sort of a website. And then obviously all last year and all throughout 2018, we've added all these things to the website and the app. So obviously when we launched, there was a lot of the sort of the features were a lot more basic than what they are now. But yeah, definitely, both the food media component, on the content side and the product side, both were moving at the same time. That when we launched, they were pretty much like launched together.
I think that's what sets you apart, actually. I think, honestly, that there was this kind of other component that there was content for the the consumer to also consume. Like there
Right.
were recipes already there so that they could start making stuff right away, and they didn't have to guess like, oh, how long am I going to put this piece of pork into my pressure cooker? How am I going to do that? You guys already have that built in. Now I do have a follow-up question though. Who developed all these recipes? Do you guys have a team of writers? Are these things that you do? I mean, I'm sure you have quite an extensive team that is just helping you develop everything.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a team of recipe contributors. You can see on the Mealthy website or an app, like most of the team, most of the recipes have, well, they all have a contributor on the recipe, right? So we've worked with a whole lot of different influencers. We've worked with we've had definitely have a few people that have contributed a few hundred recipes just kind of like by themselves, just because we really like the recipes. They could photograph well. So it's kind of like a mixture of working with like recipes that were that we contracted, and also working with some recipe developers that we actually hired for quite a bit of time, 8 to 10 months, to sort of work on them. A couple of them are still sort of with us, and actually a couple of them are actually currently making recipes for a crisp split, right? So I would say sort of a little bit of a combination of sort of in-house and sort of some of the recipe developers, and then we definitely have quite a few recipes that I've worked with like really big bloggers, right? And those I would say for the really big bloggers, those range from, we'll have like from 2 to 10 recipes from them, depending on the blogger. But it just makes Mealthy very, I would say the recipes are very diverse, right? Because they're all not written by 1 or 2 people. They're all written by a whole lot of different people. But at the same time, once they're written, they go through our editor, right? So we do have an editor who's edited actually most of our recipes, and we've had this person for almost pretty much since the beginning. So that makes sure that sort of the recipe is well written, that sort of the recipes make sense. And then the other great thing is because we added early on the functionality of leaving reviews. As people leave reviews on certain recipes, we've been able to sort of catch certain sort of mistakes on certain, or not mistakes, but certain things that are like really like, okay, this needs to be fixed on this recipe, right? Sometimes recipe either it doesn't have enough liquid, or right, or some more like a certain sort of step is making sort of the food to either burn or to overcook or different things, and then we can see it. So just like on Amazon, right? Recipes are really important. We feel that because people leave reviews on our recipes, we then I am constantly going through our website and kind of like looking at sort of the reviews, and if there's more than one is kind of saying the same thing about a recipe, we'll actually like internally we'll test the recipe and say, okay, well, this needs to be kind of sort of modified, right? And so it allows us to like constantly make sure that we are providing the absolute best recipes, and it's based on sort of the feedback, right? Just kind of like on Amazon, where the recipes really provide the reviews really provide really good feedback on whether the product is good or not. And ideally, the company should be able to sort of act upon that feedback, and therefore provide a better product, right? We kind of take that same approach with our recipes. So it's not like we're just putting out recipes and then we completely forget about them and we're just like on to the next one. We want to make sure that everything that we do, from our product to our recipes to our app features to our website to even our user manuals, everything is always under constant improvement.
So we were just snooping while you were talking, and we're looking at different recipes on the website and how they're connected to real life bloggers, some that we are familiar with. And we're also looking at your Mealthy community group on Facebook. This is amazing. There's thousands of recipes in here. That's incredible. It's an incredible treasure trove of information that nobody else has. It's awesome.
Yeah. And as you use the app, the cool thing is you can do kind of like the multiple filtering. Say you choose your appliance, whether it's a pressure cooker, whether it's an air fryer. We're just about to add all these crisp split recipes as we're about to launch that product. But also you see blender recipes, pan, nonstick pan, fry pan recipes. and then you can select whether like ready in 30 or easy.
Yeah.
Easy kind of sort of recipes or less hot ingredients, or if you're looking for like keto, whole 30, kind of like the dietary, and then you can also filter by like occasion, and then you can also filter by type of cuisine. Like say you're looking for like pressure cooker that's Mexican that is ready in 30, or you're looking for pressure cooker that is only less than 5 ingredients and that is like Italian or sort of whatnot. So just that it kind of like allows you to that added sort of filtering. Also makes it easy to say like, okay, this is kind of what I feel in the mood for, and we think that because of the fact that we have all sorts of different recipes, and also from the very beginning we didn't just say, okay, we're only gonna put out pressure cooker recipes and that's it, right? We said from the very beginning, Mealthy is going to be a food media and kitchen appliance company, and we're going to have a full, like we want to own people's entire kitchen, and that's why ever since from the beginning we said, okay, we need at least 100, blender recipes, and then, we have the 100 air fry recipes and the fry pan recipes, and we have salad recipes, right? And salad don't really, salad don't really require any kitchen appliance, right? So, but we said, okay, how do we make this sort of complete? Because at the end of the day, we want people to just use the Mealthy app and be able to cook, from a salad to a side to a soup to an entree to a dinner. And be able to filter and be able to have all this functionality that I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And you guys haven't left anything out. There's like low food mop recipes,
right?
Keto, gluten-free.
Vegan,
I mean, I was like
this is great.
Pretty all-inclusive. It's pretty impressive. Well, Bernardo, our time is getting short tonight, so I'm wondering, where can we find you? Where can we find the multi-pot and the blenders and like all of the products that you are coming out with? I mean, I'm actually really excited for the crisp lid because I love crispy things and I like them to be healthy.
Well, and it's interchangeable with any pressure cooker that you already own, which is awesome. So how can we find that and maybe get one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we currently sell on our website on mealthy.com, which you were alluding to, and on amazon.com. So those are currently our two methods of where we currently sell our products. We are currently in conversations with, to get into sort of big box retail stores, but we're not in retail yet. But I think, towards the end of this year or early next year, we will definitely be there, but for now, just online on our website and on Amazon. If you're in the US, which obviously either of those work really well, right?
And you know what? I'm gonna just make a note really quick. I'm gonna put these in the show notes as well. So if we're gonna be spitting out a lot of different websites, but I will have those on the show notes for y'all.
Okay, great. And to connect with us, if for any of the sort of listeners. We, even if you don't have a pressure cooker yet, or if you have a different pressure cooker from a different brand, we'd love to have you in our Facebook group. We're all about, sort of including everybody. We don't, when people say, oh, I have this other brand of pressure cooker, we say, oh, it's great. And, obviously, we're about to sell a product that will fit any, as you ladies were mentioning, that will fit any sort of pressure cooker brand that is a 6-quart and 8-quart that is circular. And then we're obviously launching a lot of other different products, but we like to really, engage with people on our Facebook group. People are really, we have really amazing customer service, whether people email us, whether people call us. And the other cool thing that we're almost about to launch is called a support central. We've seen kind of like also the need for that, so people will have like a frequently asked questions, and potentially also we're potentially looking to build a forum also on our site, like kind of like a database of everybody's questions also on our site as well. That's something that we're actually rolling out very, very soon.
Great, because I was actually going to ask about that. That's one of my kind of biggest pet peeves about different forums on pressure cookers is that there's not really a troubleshooting spot for a lot of these these other companies. And so I like the idea of having a FAQ spot, being able to contact the company. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah. We're really rolling that out like late next week, as we've been working on that for quite some time. So yeah, it's almost ready. Mm-hmm.
Sweet. And one last thing I want to actually point out, you guys have probably heard of crowdfunding like Kickstarter and GoFundMe, that type of thing. Mealthy is actually doing I like calling it a crowd investing type of a thing. Their campaign is now live as of May 20th, 2019, which is super exciting. Right. You basically have a chance to be part of this company. You're basically investing in the company. And so I'll put a link in the show notes, but if I'm not mistaken, if the first 150 people who invest $300 or more in Mealthy as part of this crowd investing initiative, you actually get Mealthy Crisplet, right?
Yeah. So we launched just 2 days ago. We've had already phenomenal response. We're at past 40,000 in just 2 days. So which is really, really fast compared to kind of like some of the other ones that other companies that have also launched on Republic. We added the kind of like that special perk. A lot of times people we've had some people say, so I have to pay $300 for a crisplet. And so the answer is certainly no. Like, you're investing $300, that as Mealthy grows, your investment grows, right? And so that is, and then as an additional perk, you get the crisplet for that $300. So there's kind of like that double effect of getting in with a very exciting company that is really about to launch all these products. So we really expect a lot of growth, and there's there's a really awesome and innovative product that is the crisplet that we are first to market with, that will fit any other pressure cooker. And therefore, so that's one. And then the sort of on the other side is getting one of these crisplets before sort of anybody else, which is always fun. And we've had so many people say, I want one first. So we do that. And we've had so many of our customers on our Facebook group saying, is Mealthy a public company? Which obviously we're a private company, but we've had so many of them say it's a public company, because I'd love to invest in Mealthy. And so now we open that up to them and because we were thinking, okay, how do we turn our raving fans, which love our products and are eager to buy sort of the next product that we put out, which is about to launch, and there comes the air fryer, the blender. But how do we take these people and make them like the ultimate raving fans? And I think the way to do that is to have them not besides love your product, is actually having them be financially invested. So then that that now they're kind of like completely sort of almost like, well, they become pretty much like your biggest ambassadors, right? At that point, if they
totally
love your products and are financially invested. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. And you guys are really smart. And that's true. Get your raving fans to be your biggest supporter. And that's exactly what you're doing. Okay. Well, Bernardo, thank you so much. This was delightful. It was very interesting. You were an entrepreneur through and through, and also a foodie. And it was really fun to kind of get that background look of how you developed it. You guys, I encourage you to go to mealthy.com, and like I said, I will put on some links to the show notes. I'm also going to put on a link to the crowd investing website, because like I said, by the time this comes out, it'll be going for about a week. So jump on it. You might want to get on it as sooner than later. You can be part, like he said, a public in a sense. You'll be public in a way if you want to invest with Mealthy. Thanks for giving us a little bit of background on how you developed the product, though. That was very, very interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And this was great. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Bernardo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wasn't that awesome?
It was really great. I think he knows his stuff. And it was really fun to see that little behind the scenes of like how he took his business plan that he came up with overnight.
Yes.
To a product that is being currently sold online and at retailers and stuff like that. It's the second on Amazon for their multi-pot. I think that's awesome.
Which is incredible. And go Mealthy. Like, their website is beautiful.
Yeah, I've been playing with that a lot.
Go to
actually.
mealthy.com, I think is their website. Mm-hmm. And check it out. They have so many resources that are just great.
Yes. And we are so pleased to say that we are going to do a giveaway with Mealthy. they have actually offered one of our listeners a crisp lid. I'm so excited.
You guys, you can have a crisp lid too for your Instant Pot.
Yeah, or whatever multi-pot, because there's so many out there now, and so many people have purchased different versions of it, and that's totally fine. If it's a 6-quart or an 8-quart, it will fit.
Yeah, it will work on whatever brand you have.
And it's awesome. So this is what you're going to need to do. So you're going to go to either our Facebook page at Hungry Squared or on Instagram, and we'll have a post there saying, hey, here's the giveaway for the crisp lid. It's going to start today when this podcast launched, and will end at the end of June 30th at midnight. So we'll have all that information there. But what you have to do in order to enter, obviously, is you're going to have to go and join Mealthy's Facebook group, because there they have awesome resources. And so go there, join their group, and then comment that you joined the group. And that's all you have to do. And then you're entered in. Easy peasy, right?
It's worth it for this crisp lid. It's
I know.
Awesome.
It's really pretty. It's just nice design. I like the design aspect. It's so fun. So join the group, make a comment, and you're entered. Okay. Our podcast is brought to you by our awesome and food-loving sponsor, ThermoWorks. Sharon, what have you made with using your ThermoWorks pen?
I've used my ThermoPen MK4 this week on grilled chicken.
Oh.
Out on the barbecue.
And it is so easy and good and makes that chicken not dry.
It does, because you realize that your chicken cooks up a lot faster.
Yep.
Than you ever thought it did.
Was it chicken breast?
It was, actually. Okay. And it ended up being very juicy because we just keep temping it. Like, we let the chicken get a good char. Yeah. And then we just start temping, like after about 5-10 minutes. And then it's like, oh, it's done a lot faster than you think.
Yeah. So this week we had pork chops, and pork chops can be tricky, right? Mm-hmm. We did it in the sous vide, but it's always nice to temp it afterward, like after it's done, like make sure that it's at the correct temperature. So we did that. And these are the best pork chops ever. Lee broiled them with some marmalade on the top, just a little layer of marmalade jam. I know that sounds weird, but you guys, seriously, the best thing ever. And I'm just saying, it's good stuff. So yeah.
Go to the link to ThermoWorks on our website, which is hungrysquared.com. Mm-hmm. And if you purchase anything through that link, you can support our show without any extra cost to you.
Yeah. I mean, and support yourself in your barbecue season. Yay!
Introducing interesting ingredients.
Sharon?
Yes.
What's your ingredient for today? I mean, you talked about avocados and cilantros last time, and I was little disappointed, but I mean,
you didn't have that sauce, man.
Okay.
You didn't have that sauce. Okay.
I will give that to you. So go ahead. What do you have today for me?
Today I've got fish sauce.
Yes.
Okay. See?
I love me some fish sauce, and I don't think people use it like they could be. It can help your dishes. It can add the umami, I think.
It does.
Okay, let's talk
about
so
much.
What is fish sauce?
Made from fishes? I don't know. I buy the Red Boat brand.
Yeah, that's a very common and well-known
brand.
Recommended brand.
And for you Whole 30 Years paleo people, Melissa Hartwig highly endorses that. It is Whole 30 friendly.
Okay.
Which is, I guess, kind of hard to find in like all of your condiments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we use it for different types of dishes, not just like Asian dishes that we make at our house. Like we use it when we make pad thai. We use it for certain stir fries and things like that.
Yeah.
But my favorite use for it so far has been to create a seafood stock.
Oh, which makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a recipe for like a shrimp bisque. We eat quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Ike and I do. And it's from our friend Tammy at Beyond Mere Sustenance.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she talks about making her own seafood stock. If you don't live like in a coastal state near the water or that kind of thing,
AKA us, landlocked Utah.
We're landlocked. And it can be hard to find seafood stock. You can find it, but it's usually only one brand, one variety type of a thing. And the stuff that we have at our grocery store isn't the greatest. I don't remember what brand it is, so I'm not going to call anybody out. But I've had it before and it's just kind of like meh. It's really flat. It doesn't have a lot of
the good depth and or probably the freshness. I feel like
it doesn't have, you know,
the
that
brininess,
zing, briny factor. So Tammy talks in her blog about making your own seafood stock from like shrimp shells and stuff like that. So that can work. But if you don't have shrimp shells and you don't have the time, I highly recommend getting a quality veggie broth.
Okay.
And putting a couple tablespoons of the fish sauce in it.
And gives it that. It
is just the right amount of oomph for your stock that you have a great seafood stock all of a sudden.
Nice. So Sharon, really quickly, I just need to tell you, because you were like, it's made from fish, right? Fish sauce.
I don't know.
It is.
Okay.
So the reason why I kind of want to tell people a little bit about this, because I've heard of somebody that lived in Thailand and saw fish sauce being made. And he basically said it's just fish that's kind of been packed in salt. And then it's just left out in barrels to ferment.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it eventually gets broken down by bacteria and stuff. And that becomes that. It's basically fish that's just been...
So it kind of has, so if you look at a bottle of fish sauce, it is reminiscent of soy sauce.
Yeah.
So it does, yes, I can imagine that the fish just ferments.
Yeah.
It does have a fermented flavor like soy sauce does.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right? It's got that same consistency, very similar consistency, even a similar color.
Yeah. It's not as dark.
Yeah, it's not as dark. Sometimes it can be a little bit more reddish to brown. Not quite like the dark brown, almost black of soy.
Right.
It more tends to like the red color.
Yeah. So you use Red Boat, is that right?
Yep.
And we buy a version that is in Thai. I don't know.
Yes, I am a white person and I got it at my local grocery store. You can find Red Boat anywhere.
I went to the Southeast Asian market and we purchased, there's a brand we like and I don't know what it says. I think it's in Thai. And it's delicious. And it has little bits of, they put like kind of red pepper flakes type of a thing. There's a little bit of heat in that one. And we really like that one. But that one tends to be a little bit more reddish. Yeah. It's pretty. And we use it in everything. Like Lee puts it in everything. Like he's making some marinade. He's putting some fish sauce in it. Like he kind of does it. Like that and Worcestershire sauce, he kind of interchanges those or sometimes puts both of them in because once again, it's that umami.
It's umami and it's also salt.
Yeah.
You can replace your salt with that if you're using enough of it.
It's delicious.
Yeah, for sure.
So try it out. I know that when you first just taste it straight,
it tastes like fish and you might think it's gross.
Yeah. It's really kind of funky, right? Mm-hmm. But it works really well in sauces. It works really well in complementing things. And yeah. But don't be scared by that. It really is I think it's delicious. We always have fish sauce. Always have fish sauce. So cool.
Thanks for joining us today for our show. You can find us at hungrysquared.com, on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and Spotify.
Hey, you guys. So once again, we are having that giveaway. So you got to make sure that you're hanging out with us at Instagram at Hungry Squared, or you're following us on Facebook at Hungry Squared Podcast. Of course, we are so appreciative to Mealthy and the time they gave us today for that interview, and also for their crisp lid that we get to give away to one of our listeners. So enter. We're excited to give this away. So join us next time for our next episode of Food Nerdery.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.